Right now, as you listen to this, your mind is being hijacked every few seconds. Your attention is being pulled in different directions. Juan Buzazier, mind wandersy, think about what happened yesterday, or worry about tomorrow. And while this is happening, while your focus is scattered like confetti and the wind, someone else is using their laser-focused attention to build the life you want. This isn't just about productivity, isn't just about getting more donathis, is about the fundamental law thought governs all success, all achievemental transformation, where focus goes, power flows, and if you can't control your thoughts, if you can't direct your focus on, you can't control your life. If most successful people on the planet aren't just lucky, they aren't just talented, they have mastered the one skill thought multiplies every other skill they possess. They have learned to control their thoughts and direct their focus like a laser beam while everyone else's attention is scattered, is concentrated while everyone else is distracted, they are deliberate, and that makes all the difference. Be the end of the suit show. We'll understand why your current level of focus is keeping you trapped. You will discover the science behind mental control and why your brain fights against you. Most importantly, you will have a complete system for taking back control of your mind and directing your focus toward what matters most. Is not theorithis is the blueprint for mental mastery. Chapter 1: Focus Crisis that's destroying your potential. Let me tell you something that will shock you. Average person checks their phone 9x times per day, thoughts once every 10 minutes during waking hours, but it gets worse every time you get distracted. Takes an average of 23 minutes testo. Fully refocus on what you were doing. Do the thief, you're getting distracted every few minutes. You're never actually focused at all. You're living in a state of continuous partial attention and it's killing your potential. While you think you're multitask, what you're really doing is task switching at light speed, and each switch costs you mental energy, clarity, and power. You're burning cognitive fuel without getting anywhere, like spinning your wheels in mud. But here's what's really happening: every time your focus scatters, you're not just losing time, you're losing the compound effect of concentrated effort. Think about sunlight spread out, it warms you, but focused through a magnifying glass, it can start a fire. Your attention works the same way. Scattered, it accomplishes nothing. Focused, it becomes unstoppable. People who are dominating in every field understand this. They know that in a world full of distractions, ability to focus has become a superpower. While everyone else is checking notification screen feeds and jumping from task to task, they are going deep. They are entering flow states that most people haven't experienced in years, and in those states they are creating value problems and building empires. You see this everywhere. The entrepreneur who built $1 million business didn't do it by checking email every 5 minutes. He did it by entering deep work sessions where problems and execute with precision. The athlete who dominates their sport didn't get there by having their mind on 10 different things. They trained their focus like a muscliantal. They could shut out everything handicapped what mattered in that moment. Most people never learn this skill. They never train their focus. They let their attention be pulled in every direction. Be notifications by social media, be the endless stream of information coming at them every day. They think they're staying connected, but what they're really doing just disconnecting from their own power, and the cost is enormous motion. Your focus is scattered. Energy is scattered. When your energy is scattered, results are scattered. You end up working twice as hard for half the results. Bees. You never fully commit your mental resources to any one thing. You live in a state of mental mediocrity ways, busy but never truly productive ways, moving but never making real progress. This is why the gap between successful people and everyone else keeps growing. It's not just about talent or opportunity, it's about focused. Successful have learned to control their attention hand. Everyone else is letting their attention be controlled by forces outside themselves. Own group is driving, the other is being driven. In group is focused, the other is fragmented, and the results speak for themselves. Chapter to the neuroscience of mental control and why your brain works against your brain wasn't designed for the modern world. It was designed for an environment where paying attention to everything could mean the difference between life and death. A very sound could be a predatory movement, could be threat. So your brain developed an attention system that's constantly scanning for new information, ready to switch focus to whatever might be important. This served us well when we were living in small tribes and facing physical dangers, but in today's world this Ancient wiring is working against your brain still treats every notification a potential threat, every email like an emergency social media update like vital information. You can't afford to miss it's trying to protect you, but it's actually sabotaging your successors. What happens in your brain when you try to focus? Prefrontal cortex, your brain's CO trees to maintain attention on your chosen task bet. At the same time, other parts of your brain are constantly scanning for distraction. Something grabs your attention, it triggers a dopamine release. This feels good, so your brain wants more before you know it. Torah caught in a dopamine-seeking loop, constantly craving the next hit of stimulation. This is why willpower alone isn't enough. You're not just fighting against distraction, you're fighting against of years of evolutionary programming. Your brain is literally wired to seek novelty, to pay attention to new things, to constantly switch focus, and in our modern environment there's an endless supply of novelty available at the touch of a button. But here's the incredible thing about your brain is also incredibly adaptable. This is called neuroplasticity. It means you can actually rewire your brain for better focus every time you choose to maintain attention instead of getting distracted. You strengthen the neural pathways associated with focus every time you resist the urge to check your phone, or building mental muscle. Your brain physically changes based on how you use it. Problem is most people are training their brains in the wrong direction every time they give in to distraction. They're strengthening the neural pathways that make them more distractible. They're literally making themselves worse at focusing. That's like going to the gym and doing exercises that make you weaker instead of stronger. Think about it this way: your attention is controlled by neural networks, and your brain, these networks get stronger with use and weaker with neglect. If you constantly switch between tasks, you strengthen the task switching network and weaken the sustained attention network. If you constantly seek stimulation, strengthen the novelty seeking network and weaken the deep focus network. Bet the reverse is also true when you practice sustained attention. When you resist distraction, you deliberately focus on one thing for extended periods, you strengthen the neural networks that support deep focus. You literally rewire your brain for concentration. This isn't just theory. Brain scans show that people who practice meditation have thicker cortices in the areas associated with attention and sensory processing. This means that your current level of focus isn't permanent. It's not a fixed trait, it's a skill that can be developed. But, like any skill, it requires deliberate practice. You can't just decide to focus better. You have to train your brains systematically and consistently to strengthen the neural pathways that support sustained attention. Most successful people intuitively understand this. They don't rely on willpower to stay focused. They create systems and environments that make focus easier and distraction harder. They train their brains like athletes train their bodies with deliberate practice to build mental muscle. Chapter 3: The 4 Deadly Focus Killers keep you mentally weak. There are 4 invisible enemies destroying your mental power. Right now, these aren't obvious distractions like social media or notifications. These are deeper patterns that most people never recognize, which is why they never escape them. If you don't identify and eliminate these focus killers, the productivity techniques in the world won't save you. Focus killer number 1. Multitasking myth. You've been lied to. Idea that multitasking makes you more productive is the most damaging myths of the modern world. When you think you're multitasked, you're actually doing just rapidly switching between tasks, and every switch has a co-stressors call this task switching penalty, and it's devastating. Very time you switch from one task to another, your brain needs time to reorient it, has to figure out where you left off, what you were thinking, what your next move should be. This transition period can last anywhere from a few seconds to several minutes. On the complexity of the tasks boat, it gets worse. With more complex the tasks put higher the switching cost. If you're trying to write an important email while thinking about a presentation you have to give later while mentally planning your weekend, you're not doing 3 things at once. Hour doing each thing poorly. Your email lacks clarity. Bess your attention is divided. Or presentation suffers because you're not fully engaged with the material, and your weekend planning is superficial base. You're not really thinking it through. Performers understand this. Don't multitask, they monotask with intensity. Because they're not diluting their attention across multiple tasks, they accomplish more in less to moan with higher quality results focus. Killer number 2, decision fatigue drainavary. Decision you make throughout the day depletes your mental energy from what to wear to what to eat, to which email to answer. First, you're making hundreds of micro decisions that gradually wear down your cognitive resources. By the end of the day, you don't have the mental energy left for the important stuff. This is why Plutamate as many decisions as possible. They wear the same type of clothes every day. They eat the same breakfast. They follow routines that eliminate unnecessary decision-making. They understand that mental energy is finite. They want to conserve it for the decisions that actually matter, but most people do the opposite. They waste their mental energy in trivial decisions throughout the day. Then wonder why they can't focus when it matters. They spend 10 minutes deciding what to have for lunch. Can't concentrate on important work in the afternoon. See, debate whether to check their email now or later, burning mental fuel in decisions that shouldn't require any thought at health. Solution is ruthless prioritization of your mental energy. The decisions that actually matter, ones that move you toward your goals and preserve your cognitive resources for thoughts of thing else should be automated, eliminated, or delegate. Focus killer number 3, always on addiction. Your phone isn't just a communication device, a slot machine designed to capture and monetize your attention. Every notification is engine a reto trigger, a dopamine responsive app is designed to keep you scrolling. A replatform is optimized to make you It's working. The average person spends over 7 hours a day looking at screens. That's more time than they spend sleeping, more time than they spend with their family, more time than they spend on any single activity except work, and even at work they're often distracted by screens. This isn't just a productivity problem, it's literally rewiring your brain for distraction. Every time you check your phone, you're training your brain to seek immediate gratification instead of tolerating delayed conditioning yourself to crave constant stimulations instead of being comfortable with sustained attention. Most focused people treat their devices like tools, net entertainment. They use technology to enhance their capabilities to escape from reality. They have specific times when they check message sans social media instead of being constantly available. They understand that being always on makes them always off when it comes to deep work. Focus killer number 4, mental clutter. Chowsy hour. Environment shapes your thinking. If your physical space is cluttered, your mental space becomes cluttered. If your digital life is disorganized, your thoughts become disorganized. As in your surroundings creates chaos in your mind. Most people underestimate how much their environment affects their ability to focus. They try to do important work in spaces filled with distraction. Keep their phones on their desk while trying to concentrate work in noisy environments. Wonder why they can't think clearly. They have dozens of browser tabs open and question why they feel mentally scattered. Dire environment should support your focus. Net fight against every object in your workspace should have a purpose. Every tool should be deliberately distraction should be eliminated. Most productive people design their environment like laboratories for concentration. Divinity supports the work, nothing detracts from it. This extends to your digital environment, to your computer desktop should be clean. Your browser should have only the tabs you need. Phone should be in another room, or at least face down. When you're doing important work, you need to take control of your environment. You can take control of your minthies for focus. Killers work together to create a perfect storm of distraction. Multitasking fragments your attention. Decision fatigue depletes your mental energy. Always on addiction lures your brain for instant gratifications. The mental clutter makes it impossible to think clarity. Ensure that you never reach your full potential, but once you identify the mons, you understand how they're sabotaging your success. You can begin to eliminate the mond. When you do, you'll discover a level of mental power you forgot you had. Chapter 4, Focus Power System for Complete Mental Domination. That you understand what's working against you. It's time to build the template will give you complete control over your thoughts and attention. Isn't just another productivity tactic. With us is a comprehensive framework for mental domination. Thought will transform how you think, work, and live it. Focus Power System is built on 4 pillars: attention architecture, cognitive control, flow state engineering, and power channeling master. These 4 elements end. You'll be able to direct your mental resource with surgical precision toward whatever matters most. Let's break down each pillar. Pillar on the attention architecture. This is about designing your systems to support sustained focus instead of fragmenting it. Most People work against their own architecture, create environments that make distraction easy and focus hard. Then starts with understanding that your environment is an extension of your mind. If your environment is chaotic, your thinking becomes chaotic. Your environment is designed for focus, your thinking becomes focused. This means you need to engineer every aspect of your surroundings to support deep work. Your physical space should be optimized for the type of thinking you need to do. If you're doing creative work, you might need inspiring visuals and natural light. If you're doing analytical work, you might need a clean, minimal space that eliminates visual distractions. If you're doing communication heavy work, you might need multiple monitors and easy access to your communication tools. But it goes deeper than just your physical space. Your temporal architecture matters too. This is about designing your schedule to protect your peak mental energy for your most important work. Most people do this backward. They waste their best hours on trivial tasks, then try to do important work when they're mentally drained. Performers do the opposite. They identify when their mental energy is highest, usually in the morning, and block out that time for their most important work. They batch similar tasks together to minimize tasks switching costs. They create buffers. Their deep work sessions to ease into and out of focus. States your digital architecture is equally important. This means setting up your devices and applications to support focus, instead of undermining it off non-essential notifications apps that block distracting websites during work sessions. Set up your computer so that everything you need for deep work is easily accessible, and everything that might distract you is hidden. Eliminated pillar to cognitive control. This is about training your mind like you would train your body, just as you can build physical strength through deliberate exercise. Can build mental strength through deliberate practice. Cognitive control is the foundation of all mental performance. Key insight is that attention is like a muscle. More you use it deliberate, telleth stronger. It becomes the more you let it wander, weaker it gets. Most people never train their attention muscle, then wonder why they can't sustain focus. One, they needed cognitive control training. Starts with learning to notice when your attention has wandered. This sounds simple, but it's actually quite difficult. Most people are unconscious of their mental state. Their minds wander constantly and they don't even realize it's happening. The first step is developing metacognitive awareness, which is the ability to observe your own thinking gaunts. You can catch your mind wander and you can begin to redirect. This is where the real training happens. Every time you notice your attention has drifted and you deliberately bring it back to your chosen focus, you're doing a mental repetition. You're strengthening the neural pathways. Thought support sustained attention. This is why meditation is so powerful for developing focus. It's not about relaxation or stress relief, although those are nice side effects. It's about training your mind to maintain attention on a chosen object, whether that's your breathe mantra or a visual focus point. Every time your mind wanders and you bring it back, you're building cognitive control. But meditation is the only way to build cognitive control in the activity that requires sustained attention. Will strengthen this mental muscle. Reading challenging books without distractions, working on complex problems without switching task, shaving deep conversations without checking your phone. These are all forms of attention training. Pillar 3, flow state. Engineering flow is the state of complete absorption in an activity. It's when you're so focused at that everything else disappears. Time seems to slow down or speed up. Self-consciousness fades away. You feel like you're operating at peak capacity. Effortless handling challenges would normally stretch your abilities. Flow isn't just a nice experience, it's a high-performance state. And maintaining consistency on environment requires careful attention. Some people work best in complete silence. Others need consistent background noise to mask intermittent distractions. Worst sound environment is one with irregular noisiest that repeatedly grab your attention. If you can't control the sounds around you, quality noise canceling headphones are a worthwhile investment here. Designed to be addictive or created by teams of psychologists, data scientists. Wo's job is to capture and monetize your attention. Not fighting against accidental distraction, sure fighting against sophisticated systems designed hijack your mind. First line of defense is notification management. Turn off every notification that isn't absolutely a cyclist. Includes email notifications, social media alerts, news updates, and app notifications. Interruptions don't just Steal the few seconds it takes to read themphy break your concentration, force you to use mental energito, refocus on your original task set, specific times for checking message and social media instead of being constantly available most successful. People check ML2 war 3 times per day, not every few minutes. They have designated periods for social media consumption. Continuous scrolling throughout the day, treat their attention like a valuable resource that needs to be protected. And invested wisely. Website and application blocking software can't be powerful tools for maintaining focus during your designated deep work. Periods block access to websites and applications that might tempt you away from your important work. This removes the willpower component from staying focused. Instead of constantly fighting the urge to check social media, you simply make it impossibly. Phone management is crucial here. Smartphone is probably the most potent distraction device ever. Be treated with extreme caution during focused work sessions here. Phone should be in another room, turned off, or at minimum, face down in silent mode. Mere presence of a smartphone, even when it's not being used, can reduce cognitive performance. Great technology-free zones and times. Your bedroom should be a place for rest, not screens. Your dining area should be for eating and conversation, not scrolling. You should have at least 1 hour each day, preferably in the morning, that's completely free from digital impetus. Gives your brain time to process information and generate insights without constant external stimulation. Physical barriers can be surprisingly effective. If you need to walk to another room to check social media, or less likely to do it impulsively, your phone is in a drawer instead of on your desk. It's less likely to capture your attention. Small physical obstacles can provide just enough friction to break automatic habits and give you space to make conscious choice about how to use your attention. The second layer of your mental fortresses, cognitive training. Given with a perfectly designed environment, your mind will still generate its own distractions. Internal thoughts, worry, assiduous, and emotions will arise and try to pull your attention away from your chosen focus. You need mental techniques for handling these internal distractions. Mindlessness meditation is one of the most effective methods for building this type of cognitive control. When you meditate, to practice noticing when your mind has wandered in, gently redirecting it to your chosen focus point. This is exactly the skill you need for maintaining concentration during important work. Start with just 5 minutes per day of focus attention. Comfortably choose a focus point, like your breath, or a simple phrase, and maintain attention on that point. When your mind wanders, notice that it has wandered without judging yourself and redirect your attention back to your focus point. This is mental exercise, and like physical exercise, and gets easier with consistent practices. Tlabelliness, another powerful technique for managing or distracting shan. A distracting thought arises during focused work. Instead of following the thought or fighting against it, simply label it and return to your task. If you start worrying about a conversation you had earlier, just think worrying and return to your work. If you start planning what to have for dinner, think planning and return to your work. These technique works because it acknowledges the thought without feeding it energy. When you try to suppress thoughts, they often become stronger. When you follow every thought that arises, you lose focus, but when you simply observe and label thoughts, they tend to fade naturally, leaving you free to maintain attention. What's important? The third layer of your mental fortress is energy management. Focus isn't just about attention control, it's also about having the mental energy necessary to sustain concentration. Extended periods, if you're physically tired, mentally drained, or emotionally depleted, then the best focus techniques won't help. Yao sleep is the foundation of mental performance. When you're sleep deprived, prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for executive functions like attention control, operates at reduced capacity, become more impulsive, more distractible, less able to maintain sustained focus. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night for optimal cognitive performance. Inusion affects your ability to concentrate more than most people realize. Our brain consumes about 20% of your daily calories, and it's sensitive to fluctuations in blood sugar levels. Eating consistent balanced meals helps maintain energy throughout the day, avoiding sugar crashes and caffeine spike helps maintain consistent focus. Capacity physical exercise, particularly cardiovascular exercises, cognitive performance sixes, increases blood flow to the brain, promotes the growth of new neural connections, and improves your brain's ability to focus and resist distraction. 7. A short walk can help clear your mind and restore your ability to concentrate. Stress management is critical for maintaining focus. When you're stressed, your brain releases hormones that impair cognitive function and make you more reactive to distraction. Shock stress literally shrinks the prefrontal cortex area responsible for executive control. Regular stress reduction practices like deep breathing, meditation, or physical exercise help maintain the brain chemistry necessary for sustained focus. Building your mental fortress takes timid, deliberate effort, but the investment pays enormous dividends. You have systematic defenses against distraction when your environment supports focus instead of undermining it. When your mind is trained to maintain it. What matters most? You gain access to a level of mental performance most people never experience. It become capable of sustained high-quality thought that generates insight, solutions, and results that seem impossible. Those operating from a scattered, reactive mental state. Chapter 6. Compound effect of concentrated thoughts. What separates the truly successful everyone else cites, not just that they can focus for a few minutes or even a few hours, it's that they understand the compound effect of concentrated thought. A very hour of de-focused work doesn't just produce results for that hour, it builds cognitive momentum that makes the next hour even more productive. Think about it like compound interest in investing. You invest money, you don't just earn returns on your original investment, you earn returns on your returns, or money grows exponentially over time, because each gain comes the foundation for future gains. Focused thinking works exactly the same way. When you spend an hour in deep concentration, you're not just completing tasks, you're strengthening your focus muscle, building neural pathways that make future concentration easier. You're developing insights that inform future work. You're creating cognitive momentum that carries forward into everything else you do. Most people never experience this compound effect because they never sustain focus long enough to generate momentum. The work in 15-minute fragments, interrupted by distraction, switch between tasks so frequently thought they never build depth in any arithmetic mistake activity for productivity and wonder why their results don't improve over time. Compound effect of concentrated thought explains why some people seem to accomplish impossible amounts of high-quality work. They're not just working more, they're accessing multiplier effects that come from sustained mental engagement. Each day of focused work makes them capable of even higher levels of performance. Next day, consider what happens. You spend 3 uninterrupted hours working on a complex problems. First 30 minutes might feel difficult as your mind settles into the work. Second 30 minutes become easier as you gain momentum. By the second hour, you're operating at a higher cognitive level than when you started. By the third hour, you're making connections and generating insights that wouldn't have been possible in scattered 15-minute sessions. This deep engagement doesn't just solve the immediate problem, it trains your brain to handle complexity. It builds your capacity for sustained thinking. It develops pattern recognition that helps you solve future problems faster. Cognitive gains compound over time, making you progressively more capable of handling difficult challenges. Successfuls entrepreneurs understand this intuitively. Don't just work on their businesses in spare moments between other activities. They block out substantial periods for strategic thinking, for deep problem solving, for creative innovation. They know that breakthrough ideas and game-changing strategies don't emerge from fragmented attention. They come from sustained focused engagement with important challenges. Same principle applies to skill development. You practice something with complete mental clarity becomes as natural as breathing mastery. Integration means that focus skills be integrated into your identity rather than remaining external techniques. You sometimes no longer think of yourself as someone who's trying to develop better concentration. You are someone who naturally maintains sustained attention on what matters most during this phase. You begin teaching focus principles to others, which deepens your own understanding and commitment to become a model of what sustained attention looks like. Kind practice consistent demonstration of focused behavior influences the people around you and creates environments that support rather than undermine concentration. Adams practitioners in phase 3 develop the ability maintain peak cognitive performance or girdles of external condition. She can focus deeply in chaotic environment. They can think strategically under extreme pressure. They can access flow states in suboptimal condition. She become antifragile and their cognitive capabilities getting stronger rather than weaker when faced with challenging mental conditions. Mastery involves conscious refinement of your focus skills based on changing life circumstances and evolving specific techniques you use may change over time, but your commitment to mental clarity and your ability to direct attention with precision become permanent characteristic. Transformation blueprint isn't just about individual focus and about becoming the kind of person who creates value through sustained high-quality thinking. When you can consistently direct your mental restored, what matters mastu become capable of contributions that scatter distracted people simply cannot. This transformation changes everything. Your work quality improves dramatical abyss. You can think more clearly and deeply about important problems in your relationships. Improv Beckus, you can be fully present with people instead of being mentally scattered. Learning accelerates UAs, can sustain attention on challenging material instead of giving up when things get difficult. Most importantly, you develop cognitive autonomy instead of having your attention controlled by external forces. You choose where to direct your mental energy instead of being reactive to distractions and interruptions. You become proactive about protecting and investing your cognitive resources. Choice is your you can continue operating with scattered attention like most people, accomplishing less than your potential and feeling constantly overwhelmed. Competing demands for your mental energy. Guru can commit to the systematic development of focus mastery and excess levels of cognitive performance that most people never experience. Where focus goes, power flows. Question is, where will your focus go from here? Will you let it be controlled by force outside yourself, or will you take complete ownership of your most valuable resource and direct it toward creating the life and impact you actually want? The techniques exist. Science is provant. Blueprint is completio. That remains is your decision to begin and your commitment to continue in Hellfest. Attention becomes as natural and automatic. Breathing your transformed mind is waiting. The only question is whether you'll do what's necessary to claim it.